guess what? When I first day when I walked into class, I literally sat in front of Professor Matthew, and he started, first I introduced myself, he introduced himself, and we never stopped talking that day for the rest of the class.
This podcast is all about helping international students navigate the process of studying in the US, particularly through the F1 visa route. Hello, welcome to another episode of the F1 Journey podcast. I'm Francesco, and today I'm with Osama.
Hi there.
Welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming and for being here. Are you ready?
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the US to study?
All right, so my first name is Osama Salim, and I'm born and raised in Saudi Arabia, and my parents are from Pakistan, so that makes me a citizen of two countries, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, which is cool. Before I was moving to the US, I actually, most of my life, I was raised in Saudi Arabia, but I moved to Pakistan for a couple of years to do my high school, which was in the capital of Pakistan, which was Islamabad. But then after I was done with my 2-year college, I decided that I wanted to move to the US, especially New York, because New York is the Big Apple.
Right.
New York is the best city in the world where we could start as a young student, as a young person. If your age is around early 20s, I think New York is the best place to test yourself. And I'm really glad that I chose to begin with Amlotus, because although I was really good in English language because my high school diploma was from UK's Cambridge University, but even despite being super confident about my English language skills, there's still a lot of things about American language and culture you need to learn because they're slightly different from the rest of the world.
Right, yeah.
And Amlotus was the best at helping me train myself and start learning about the American language and prepare me for my college here, which I'm soon gonna move.
Yeah, we didn't mention that he was one of our best students and he just moved to BMCC. So congrats for that.
Thank you so much. Honestly, although I'm excited for BMCC, but I'm not really excited to let go of Amlotus because during my time here, I had so much fun with professors and the staff because the professor has an amazing personality. We get along a lot, and we have a lot of interesting topics that we're both similarly interested in. And even after class, every class, when everybody gets to go back home, I stay in class with I stay longer with Professor Matthew because we talk about all these cool things on social media and politics and and other industries of media, and I enjoy it.
Great, we'll get there. So what was like coming from Pakistan to New York at first time?
Well, at first I was actually very excited because why not? New York is one of my dream cities, and I'm actually living the dream with you. But it was exciting, but as soon as I arrived in New York, as soon as my flight landed, I started to stress because in the beginning, when you're moving to a new city, you're all excited, and because you do know that you're gonna be starting a new life, but there are certain things nobody's prepared for, and that was moving away from your family and staying away from your family and living on your own. But New York helped me fight that,
right.
And New York helped me learn, and every obstacle that came my way, Amlotus, the students and the teachers, we all did it together, and we learned to just prosper, and I'm grateful for everything.
It's not easy to move to another country and start like a new chapter, like by yourself, especially if you're by yourself.
But now I can happily call you guys family because you guys helped me overcome all those obstacles.
Amazing. Was there anything that surprised you about living to New York or studying here?
Not one thing, so many things. I mean, I never planned about all those things that surprised me in New York or living abroad, especially in New York. Obviously, before we start moving, we do plan some things to the best of our power and knowledge, moving to a new place for our school as students. But when I first started to live my first couple months in New York, I never thought about doing my chores myself, waking up every morning, making your own breakfast, preparing your day yourself, because back home you got your mom, or you got your dad, you got your siblings, all there like a comfort zone. But when you move here, now you're outside of your comfort zone, and you have to grow up and mature into your uncomfortable zone. And I'm glad that I overcame it. That's the only way to do it, to face it.
Yeah, that's great. How old are you?
I'm 23 now.
23, so...
Still young, but...
How did you first hear about Amlotus and what made you choose us instead of other schools?
Okay, that's an interesting question because there are a lot of schools, language schools in New York, but Amlotus has two schools and two campuses that I know of. One is
In
in
New York, we
Manhattan.
just opened a new one in Philadelphia. Just to.
I heard about that, and I heard it's much more bigger and it's much more.
It's different for now. We are not having F1 visa students, but
Okay.
maybe soon we'll be able to.
Of course, that would be nice because some of my close mentors and my professors from my previous college, they were really good friends with people at Amlotus. So when I was planning to move to a language school to help me prepare myself in English language and vocabulary and grammar for my upcoming college, they referred me to Amlotus. And when I first walked to this building, I saw a lot of friendly faces who helped me get my transfer done and schedule me for my English language courses. And rest is history. And I'm glad that I made that choice.
Amazing.
One of my best
I'm
choices.
glad. I'm glad you're glad. Were there any teacher, staff, or classmate who made a big difference, like studying, doing your studying in a.
Of course, I'm glad that you asked me that because I was really wanted to mention Professor Matthew, who's one of my favorite professors. And yeah, it made a lot of difference. It made a big impact on my education here. Professor Matthew is really friendly with all the students, and he has this personality where he wants to know who you are.
Yes.
Guess what? When I first day when I walked into class, I literally sat in front of Professor Matthew, and he started, first I introduced myself, he introduced himself, and we never stopped talking that day. For the rest of the class, he was asking who I am or where I'm from and why I chose Amlotus or, his classes. And from that day onwards, we've never stopped talking. Every time I come to class, we always gossip after class during break time. And he's always making our subject more interesting and more. So we all got to interact with him. We all got to play games related to the subject, which made everybody comfortable and be more mutual to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. It looks like you find a friend more than.
I found a friend. Yes, I found a friend, and it's always fun hanging out with him in class.
Okay, so since you're moving to BMCC, how Amlotus helped you prepare for your college?
Oh, Amlotus did help me with the moving to the BMCC because before you actually move to any big colleges in New York, you actually have to give a lot of English assignments, and they're called ESL's tests.
Right.
Despite you being from a different country and you have your own English language diplomas to verify that you're good at English language, New York, a lot of colleges in New York or in the US do not accept the foreign diplomas or certificates. They do their own testing. And I'm really glad that Amlotus actually prepared me for that test. Either it's the written test, or it's the speaking test, or it's the listening test. Amlotus helped me go through all of them. And when I went to the BMCC college for my English language test, I did so great. I did so good in my test.
It's amazing to hear.
I'm glad. And Professor Matthew actually prepared me for the test. And he even gave me a reference letter so my college could actually see that and I don't have any trouble transferring.
That's great. I mean, so
He's a great teacher, I know.
that's great.
I wish we had him in the podcast with us.
Well, who knows? Maybe in the future.
Of course, yes.
What are some personal or academic goals you achieved during your journey?
A lot. Although I was really good in English language back home, because I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies and a lot of Universal movies, reading a lot of books. But I was never perfect. Nobody is perfect in any subject or any interest of work. So although I was good at being verbal in English and vocal, but I had problems with my grammar and vocabulary. And Professor Matthew and Amlotus helped me so much, being super professional with how I prepare my emails and my essays and English language, vocabulary and grammar, which I actually use to prepare my application for my school that I'm transferring to. So I'm glad. I learned a lot from Amlotus. I got to take really important skills in my social life and in my career in the future, because social skills and soft skills are very important.
Okay, so first of all, congrats for transferring to BMCC. It's a big step. What are you planning to study there?
First of all, I really appreciate it because I do know that all of you guys helped me transfer to my next college. What am I studying there? Actually, surprisingly, I'm studying the most controversial but most interesting subject nowadays: political science. Political science and somewhat law and somewhat land security, but mostly political science and law. It's one subject that I'm really interested in, and I'm excited to study political science in the MCC. It's going to be interesting.
How did you feel when you get accepted?
I was excited. I was so excited because I actually had planned to move to BMCC for a while now. But I knew that I need to work on my English language skills, and I'm glad that I got to fulfill all my English language needs in the past 2 semesters. And now I'm excited. I'm confident now to transfer to BMCC because now I'm well prepared with English language.
Yeah, I can tell. You look very confident. So
Of course, you guys can help me with gaining all the skills and confidence.
amazing.
Yeah.
And what helped you decide what to do after us?
Honestly, I do know when I announced to Amlotus staff and Julia and Tidima and Matthew that I'm moving to BMCC. At first, I was kind of sort of not excited to. I was not keen on telling them I'm going away, but they knew I had to go start my full credit school and start my career
Right.
in the subject of interest. I had already planned to study political science. I actually told Julia, I wish you guys taught political science, so I never have to leave this school. I never wish to leave this school. But now that's it. I had a subject of interest, and I have to move to a school which teaches us the subject of interest. And I'm glad that I began with Amlotus to work on my skills.
Great. Yeah. Looking back on your journey, what's something you're really proud of?
Of course. Well, although I wasn't really keen on moving from Pakistan and away from my family to the US alone because it was my dream, but it's not easy to step away from your family. But making that decision despite having a fear and stress about what possibly could be and what could not be, because whatever is unpredictable, it fears you. What you do not know about kind of scares you. How to maintain it, the decision, making the decision, working on it, taking the first leap of faith itself, that was my biggest decision that I never regret now, and I'm glad that I made that decision because it made me a better person. It made me more responsible. It made me more not fearing of making big decisions now because I can start taking risks again. And I'm glad that I started this journey and I got to learn this in the best city in the world, New York City, with one of my best English language schools in New York City. I know.
Do you have any message for other international students or who's thinking about applying for an F1 visa?
Of course. So my message to all the F1 visa international student is, if you choose to, or if you plan to move to the US for your college or your undergrad or your master's, I would suggest if you could squeeze out one or couple semester or 1 year of your education or academics, it would be really helpful if you start with a language school, or if you are already in the US and you're in your college, and if you want to take a semester break, and if you have decisions to make about your F1 visa or your service or your status, I think it's better you go with Amlotus because Amlotus was super simple and it was easier compared to other colleges that I tried to look through. And it's going to give you a lot of academic skills, a lot of social skills, a lot of soft skills, and it's going to help you maintain your F1 visa because that's the most important thing to have. And one more important decision is to maintain your F1 visa. And the one way to do it, through my personal experience, is to switch to a language school like Amlotus, where it's easily transferred and you can work on your social skills, your soft skills, and your English vocabulary skills. And it's like a break. You don't have to take a lot of classes and you can lower your stress. Once you're done with you could finally transfer back to your major and, start taking your classes. And this time you're going to be more prepared because you know how to deal with all the assignments and all the soft skills. There you go.
So thank you so much for being here, Osama.
Thank you guys so much for making me a part of your school, and the staff was so friendly and they were like a family to me, and I got to learn a lot of them. I got to learn a lot from them, and the students here were always fun to hang around with, and the professor is one of the best professors that I hang out with and got to make friends with, and got to learn a lot of confidence, gain a lot of confidence in myself. So thank you guys as well.
We wish you all the best. And thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you on the next episode of the F1 Journey podcast. Thank you.
Bye bye.